Quantitative analysis is going to use the types of reactions we've been looking at that involve ions to determine the amount of an unknown substance. Volumetric analysis means you're going to keep track of volumes, which is common when dealing with solutions. We will do one of these type, a titration in lab. The other type is gravimetric analysis, and this has to do with weighing a product of some sort. So let's talk about each of those in more detail. So this is like we're going to do in lab, a titration. You have to have a reaction. This is our unknown. We know what it is, but we don't know the concentration. This is something we know what it is, and we know its concentration, so our known. And we know that they react. We know the balanced chemical equation for it. So what we do is we put our known in what's called a burette. And the burette is like a graduated cylinder. It's marked, but it has an open end here and it has a little valve. But your B, our known, can be dripped down into this. And this is where our known solution will be. And so this is dripped down, and when it's dripped down, it reacts with the A. And what we're going to do is basically see how much of this solution does it take for all of A to react. So to know that, we need a trick. And the trick we use is called an indicator. An indicator is a substance that you put down here that will tell you when A is depleted. In other words, once A has all reacted, bing, you'll get a color change. And that's the tricky part. Indicators work different ways with different reactions, and we'll talk about the way ours in lab works, but I'm just going to kind of leave it at that for now, that we'll get a color change down here when all of the A has reacted. So the way this works is you're going to gradually drip this down until we get that color change. So gradually dripping it down. And there's our color change. So I know the volume started here and I ended there. It looks like I used about 7.9 milliliters of this solution. So this gives me the known. Known volume of B. To react all of A. So I know how much it took of this. That allows me to back calculate and see how much A was present. Okay, and that we're about to learn how to do those calculations. It's basically stoichiometry using solutions. Let's look at our other type of quantitative analysis. Gravimetric analysis depends on doing a reaction where we're going to react our unknown and we're going to react it all to make a precipitate. And then we'll weigh our precipitate, back calculate, and then we can figure out how much A was present. So that's the tricky part. You need to add B until no more precipitate forms. And you have to be careful about doing that. You probably need to let your precipitate settle and then add a little bit more and make sure you're not getting any more cloudiness. But that's the tricky part. Make sure that you've added enough B that it's in excess and A is limiting. Okay, if that's true, then the amount of the precipitate that it forms can be used to back calculate and tell how much A had been present. We just need to weigh that precipitate, and that's cut off a little bit, but you're just going to calculate the amount of A based on the mass of the precipitate.